Author's note: welcome to my next installment. I posted this new chapter today because it is my birthday, and I wanted to share it with you of all special days for me. One morning at the dormitories, Spike was still in bed until his alarm clock went off. He reached to the side and turned it off, followed by rubbing the sleep out of his eyes. When he was fully awake, he stretched and spoke. Saturday, my old friend. One thing I love about them is no classes. He jumped out of bed, he went to take a shower and came out wearing a clean pair of casual clothes. First weekend at a new school, he began before taking a seat at his desk, and with new friends here, there's so many possibilities. Suddenly there was a knock at his door. Speak of the devil. He went to his door and opened it, revealing his 7 friends. Morning, Spike, they greeted him. Morning, girls. What's up? The ceiling, Pinky answered, with a laugh. Good one, Spike chuckled. But seriously, what's going on? Well, it's Saturday and we were wondering if you'd like to hang out with us. Twilight offered to. Really? Spike asked. Of course, Fluttershy confirmed, but suddenly grew worried. That is, if you don't already have plans. If so, we completely understand. Actually, I don't have anything particularly on my agenda today, so I guess I can join you girls, Spike answered. All right, Pinky cheered, as she jumped up and down in excitement. Let me just grab my stuff, Spike said, as he grabbed his wallet, cell phone and purple jacket which he donned. Okay, let's go. Soon enough, the 8 students had left the dorms and were out in the city. Spike felt glad to be walking around with new friends, like he used to back in junior high with his old pals. The girls, however, were extra ecstatic to finally have a boy to pal around with them. So do you girls come out here every weekend? Spike asked them. Well, only when we don't have too much going on around campus, Twilight answered. Have you ever come around here before? Sunset asked him. All the time with my boys back in junior high, he answered, before sighing. It's gonna be different now that they're in normal high schools. And I'm at an all-girls academy. The girls, seeing how much of a change this would be for Spike, walked at his side, with Twilight and Rarity putting their hands on his shoulders. Don't worry, Spike, you have us now, Twilight said. Yeah, we may not be your old pals, but we can make sure you are not alone in this, Sunset added with an assuring smile. Spike smiled back. Thanks, girls. So who's up for some fun? Yeah, the girls cheered, as they continued on heading for the mall. Inside the shopping center, they walked along. As Spike spoke up, well, girls, where should we go first? Oh, here, Twilight said eagerly, as they were right outside a bookshop. Books, Rainbow asked with a groan. I need to see if the latest volumes of astronomy are in, Twilight said. Could be a chance to see if my fave comics new issue is in. Spike agreed. With no further objections, the group went inside. Twilight was looking through some of the bookshelves for her designated choice of literature. Fluttershy was looking through a book on animals. Applejack was checking out a cookbook with apple recipes. Rarity was looking at a fashion magazine by the magazine racks. Sunset was reading a book on heavy metal. Rainbow, despite her objection to books, was reading a sports magazine. Pinky was looking at a joke book, and Spike was checking out the comic books before picking one out. Eventually they paid for their stuff and were walking about the mall again. So I take it the bookstore is your ideal shop here in the mall, Twilight? Spike asked. That's right, it's where I get all my books, be they for school or just as my hobby, she explained. Do all of you have select shops in the mall you love the most? Spike asked the rest. We sure do, Applejack confirmed. There's mine up ahead, Pinky beamed, as she approached a magic joke shop. Inside, Pinky was looking at all sorts of joke and gag props, while the girls waited around. As Spike checked some stuff out himself, he picked up a ventriloquist dummy. How do you like school, Billy? He made the dummy answer. Close, he chuckled. The girls giggled until they saw Pinky wink at them before donning a pair of X-ray glasses and looked over at Spike, who wasn't aware of this. She gasped quietly and began panting and salivating as she looked at him. Rarity rolled her eyes. She knows those things don't work that way. Or do they? She asked curiously as she saw Pinky take off the X-ray glasses. Spike was looking at some joke products until Pinky popped up before him. How do you like this place, Spike? I must say the stuff here is cool, Spike admitted. Got that right, Pinky said, as she clasped her hand with his. Put it there. Upon grasping Pinky's palm, Spike felt a vibration in his hand that shocked him. Before he realized what the girl did, Joy Buzzer, the bestseller, she laughed. Okay, I walked right into that one, Spike chuckled, knowing he'd have to be careful around her if she was that good with jokes and gags. Later they were at a clothing shop courtesy of Rarity's Choice, where each of the girls was checking out certain articles of clothing that caught their attention. Spike was looking at the men's section before picking up a green cap with a flame emblem on it. He put it on his head and went to the girls. What do you think, girls? It looks good, Twilight admitted, but it could look cooler, Rainbow said, as she turned the cap around so it was backwards. Now that's more like it. Rarity inspected Spike. It does look cute. Thanks, Spike smiled and took the hat off. After he purchased his new hat, they left the shop. As Fluttershy spotted her favorite place in the mall, they went inside the mall's pet shop, where Fluttershy was doting over various little critters in their pens. Rarity was nuzzling with a kitty. Rainbow was checking out a turtle. Pinky was staring at some fish in a tank while making fish faces with them. Twilight and Sunset were looking at the birds, and Applejack was petting a dog while thinking of her own pet dog back at her home. Spike was standing by a pen of dogs and saw Golden Retriever Puppy had its paws up. The boy smiled as he ruffled the dog's head, as the puppy clearly loved the show of affection. Fluttershy walked over and spoke. Looks like someone likes you. Yeah, Spike smiled. As Fluttershy got down and started petting one of the other puppies, Spike noticed just how much the animals were drawn to Fluttershy. Wow, you've got quite a way with animals. Well, I love to take care of animals, Fluttershy admitted, while picking one of the puppies up and rubbed noses with it. And they love the way I do it, she giggled as the puppy licked her cheek. Their next stop was at a karaoke cafe, where they were all inside and having fun with doing karaoke. Spike listened for a while, hearing each of them had a beautiful singing voice. Suddenly Sunset spoke up. Hey Spike, do you sing? Me? Well, not for big crowds. I mostly sing to myself, he admitted. Well, why don't you sing for us? Sunset suggested. Huh, he saw the others looking at him with smiles. Yeah, Spike, why don't you try it? Applejack beckoned him. Spike looked around, seeing each of them wanted to hear him give it a shot. Well, all right, he said, before taking the mic and selected a song.
No, honey, I'm good. I can have another, but I probably should not. I got somebody at home. It's been a long night here and a long night there, and these long legs are damn near.
When the music played, he sang the lyrics off the screen and the girls listened with enjoyment.
But if you ask where I'm staying tonight, I gotta be like, oh baby, no baby, you got me all wrong, baby. My baby's already got all of my love. So no, honey, I'm good. I can have another, but I probably should not. I got somebody at home, and if I stay, I might not leave alone. No, honey, I'm good. I can have another, but I probably should not. I gotta bid you adieu to another. I will stay true. I will stay true. I will stay true.
When the song finished, the girls clapped. Spike, you were great. Fluttershy clapped. Really? Yes, Rarity nodded. You got some set of pipes there, Applejack added. I try, he admitted. You know, we could use a male voice for our band, Rainbow admitted. How would you like to join the Rainbooms as our lead male singer? You mean it? Spike gasped at her offer. Your voice in our band will be better than ever, Rainbow nodded. Wow, that's really thoughtful of you to offer. Spike smiled with joy. I never was part of a band before, always a first time for everything. Pinky put an arm around him. After they left, Spike found his fave place to go at the mall, a place known as Megaplex Arcade. The group went inside as Spike, Rainbow, Sunset and Pinky looked excited as they went to play some arcade games, while the others walked around to check it out. Pinky was doing some skee-ball, Sunset was doing shooting game, and Rainbow was doing whack-a-mole. Spike had been playing regular arcade games until he saw a dance game. He smirked before stepping up to it, intending to take on the coup. Room for one more, he heard a voice next to him and saw Rainbow. How about a 2-on-2 game? Rainbow offered. Spike thought about it and smiled. Sure. So the two got into positions on the mats and the game was underway. Both Spike and Rainbow played against the cast, making sure not to miss a step. As the game started getting harder, the two had to pick up their pace and make sure their steps were right. They were doing so well they started attracting the attention of multiple others in the arcade. The girls saw what was going on and began watching them. Wow, look at them go, Pinkie gasped. They're in perfect sync. Twilight was amazed. It's amazing. Fluttershy put a hand to her mouth. Looks like Spike can also dance as well, Sunset said, while crossing her arms feeling impressed. Spike and Rainbow had entered the final round as Rainbow spoke to the boy. All right, Spike, this is it. Are you ready? Always, Spike answered, with a confident smirk. And so the final round began, as both Spike and Rainbow started catching the dance steps just like their opponents. Despite how much harder it was and the two started sweating, they weren't about to get done in by computerized opponents. The girls and the rest of the arcade players watched with anticipation as the two were getting closer and closer to the final steps. At the end of the game, the words "You win" appeared on the video screen of the game. The arcade players cheered with the girls on their success. Spike and Rainbow, both overjoyed at their victory, embraced each other and danced around in joy. Suddenly Spike was taken by surprise, as Rainbow Dash suddenly grabbed his face and planted a big fat kiss right smack on his lips. The girls went wide-eyed in shock, as the other arcade customers were hooting and hollering for Spike's luck. Spike himself wasn't sure what was happening to him all of a sudden, but he allowed himself to be taken in by the wild kiss that the rainbow-haired girl had bestowed upon him. When Rainbow and Spike parted, Rainbow smirked, while Spike was laughing in a daze. "Rainbow," the girls called, as she looked back at her friends, seeing their scowling faces. "Hey guys, what do you think?" she asked while holding Spike up. "What was that you just did to Spike?" Rarity inquired, while looking jealous. "It was a victory kiss, no big." She brushed it off. "There are much more practical ways you could have expressed your joys of victory," Twilight noted flatly. "Probably, but Fluttershy got a chance to kiss him, so I went for it myself," she said as Spike snapped out of it and looked at her with a blush. "Rainbow Dash, you just..." "That's right. And how was it?" she asked with a grin as she touched noses with him. Spike chuckled nervously from both her question and at how close she was to his face. Until Applejack spoke up. "All right, yo, back it up," she said, as the others got the rest of the people in the arcade to leave them. They suddenly heard a loud rumbling sound as Pinkie looked down at her tummy. She smiled. "I'm hungry. It is just about lunchtime." Twilight checked the time. "So let's go grab a bite at the food court," Sunset suggested. "Sounds good to me." Rarity smiled. "Then let's get a move on," Applejack said as the group walked, with Spike being the last to exit the arcade. He looked back at the dance game and then up ahead at Rainbow Dash. While recalling the move she made on him a moment ago, he thought to himself, "I'm loving these girls every moment I'm with them." He smiled before running up to catch them.